Hai, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. How are you today? I'm very happy to see you here. Today, you will meet me again with me, Universitas Muhammadiyah. I'm the lecturer in IPIEF, International Program for Islamic Economics and Finance, Universitas Muhammadiyah Yogyakarta. Okay, and now we will learn about the economics policy in development course. In this session, we will learn about the environment and development. Okay. Okay, now I believe all of you guys will know about the environment. We have hear about what is the environment. What do you think about environment? Okay, right? Yes, great. Your answer is good. So the term about the environment mean, we have know that in popular usage. For some people, all the term environment means simply nature. So in the other words, the natural landscape together with all of its non-human features, characteristic and process. To these people, the environment is often closely related to notion of wilderness and pristine landscape that have not been influenced, or at least that have been imperceptibly influenced by human activities. So, however, for other people, the term of environment includes human elements to some extent. Many people would regard agricultural and pastoral landscapes as being part of the environments, whilst others are yet more inclusive and record all elements of the earth surface, including, for example, urban areas, as constituting the environment. Thus, in popular usage, the notion of the environment is associated with diverse image and is bound up with various assumptions and beliefs that are often unspoken, yet may be strongly held. So that is the meaning of environment. Okay. Okay, now we will look. This is the basic environment problems. There are some problems, puzzle the problems. Yeah. For example, we have economics activity. Yeah, economic activity and human activity. Because we have a human doing the economics activity to fulfill their needs and human activity, so it can be impact to the environment. Yeah, environment degradation. For example, the forests. Many people get out the forest to get the wood, but if the human activity is not wisely, so it will be impact to environment condition. And then we're facing the impact of climate change because the human activity is not wisely to use, for example, the the fuel from carbon dioxide. So in the atmosphere, it can be impact to the oxygen, the what is it? It will impact to the climate change. Human activity and economic activity, it will impact to the sustainability of the environment, the sustainability of the resources. The MDGs, Millennium Development Goals, and Sustainable Development Goals, they have already get out the indicator. So indicator for how to we can say that the resources is sustained or the environment is sustained. The parameters we use is with the indicator of Millennium Development Goals, but now with Sustainable Development Goals, or we call SDGs. These problems, this will be impact to the cost of development. And the cost of development, it will impact to reducing economic development. And economic development, if we cannot maintain it, it will impact to the poverty. So now, how about the sustainable development? What do you think about sustainable development? The concept and definition of sustainable development is meeting the needs of current generation without sacrificing the needs of future generation. Development is sustainable if the stock of our capital assets remains constant or increases over time. So that's means about the sustainable development. When natural resources are in this condition, natural resources and other capital can be substituted at a limited scale and level. In environmental, we have know the environmental accounting. To how to define the environment is sustainable. So we have count to how about the environmental accounting. Environmental accounting usually used by development policy makers in assessing the amount of costs and benefit arising from an economic activity, whether it provides benefits or otherwise causes the loss of environmental capital from the use of these economic activities. Next, we know that there any environmental capital. What is the environment capital? The environment capital is a part of the total capital assets of an economic activity on the environment. For example, is forest use, and then soil quality, and surface water. That is the environmental capital. Now, what is the sustainable net national income? This is the other parameters to define the environmental sustainability. Sustainable net national income is environmental account from the income from the income total that can consume without reaches the total assets capital in the country. This is include the capital from the country. This is the formula you can see on the monitor. So the national net national income is symbol with NNI. NNI, yes. And GNI is good national income. Okay, now about the sustainable net national income. This is the formulate you can read, yeah. And then population, resources, and the environment. Population, resources, and the environment. What is the relationship between the population and then the resources and then the environment? First, we know that the increase in population, it will impact to the natural resources consumption in increases. If the natural resources consumption is increases, it will impact to the reduced environmental capital stock. Yeah, for example, for the use of forests and then the quality of water and the quality of the air, the waste, for example, that it will impact to the reduced environmental capital stock. And then if that is happen, what impact? It will impact to the environmental degradation. So the for example, so the condition of forest, it will degradation. Yeah. If it happens, it will impact to decrease resource productivity. Decrease resource productivity. Yeah, because of there many forests not have growth, so in good quality, it will decrease resource productivity. How about the community? The community who lives in the forest, who lives in the, for example, in the beach, on the beach, for example, on the farm. They will poverty. They will facing the poverty. So the relationship between the population, the increasing of the population, it will impact to the reduce of quality of the resources, and then it will impact to the degradation of the environment. If it happen in the future, it will impact to the poverty community. So talk about the environmental. We cannot we also remember with the environment curve with the cosmic theory. The environment curve, Kuznets theory, explain that economic growth will initially increases environment degradation. So, environment curve Kuznets, it describes the any relationship between economic growth with environmental degradation. This is because the country will focus on increasing production without paying attention to environmental aspects. The production process, which is carried out continuously, will then result in environmental degradation in the form of pollution to the soil, water, and the air. In the economic curve, CUSNET, EKC, economic growth at a certain point will then make people aware that the need for good environmental quality is very important. So this point is known as the turning point where economic growth will reduce environmental degradation. So the EKC, the first explanation of the CUSNET inverted U-curve relationship is the stage of economic growth through the transition from agriculture to the industry. Then post-industry with a surface-based system. So if it happens, the impact is environmental damage. It will tend to increase due to change in economic structure from rural to urban areas and from agriculture to industry as mass production and consumption grow. This then decreased with the second change in the economic structure from heavy energy-based industry to technology-based industries and services. This is the sum of literature you can read. Okay. So this is the picture. Environmental CUSNET curve or EKC. This is the x-axis is the growth, economic growth, and the y-axis is degradation of the environment. For the pre-industry economic, the curve of the economic growth is increasing until the state of the industry, economic industry, and then the growth is increasing, and also the degradation of the environment increasing too. When the world entered to the services economics, services economics, when the world they know about the environment, the knowledge about the environment is increased, so the growth of economics is decreasing. When the growth of economics decreasing, how about the environment, degradation of environment? It will facing decreasing too. So this is the hypothesis of EQC, environmental CUSNET curve. We said that there are any relationship between economic growth and the degradation of environment. So economic or sustainable environment growth. If we are the policymakers in this country, we will face into the two options or the two choice. The first is economic or sustainable environment growth, where you will choose. Okay. Environmental indicators, it's stated by indicator in MDGs, in Millennium Development Goals, before the Sustainable Development Goals indicators. In environmental indicators in MDGs, Millennium Development Goals, there are any eight goals in Millennium Development Goals. The first is reduce poverty. The second is how to achieve universal primary education. The three is to promote gender equality and empowerment to women and reduce child mortality, and then improve maternal health, and then to combat HIV or AIDS and tuberculosis. And this is on the 7 indicators that's said that this is the parameter of environment key to ensure environmental sustainability. This is the parameter of the environment. So in MDGs, there are any one indicators that include the environmental indicators. Yeah, how about in the SDGs? Environmental indicators in SDGs, this is SDGs, not MDGs. On MDGs, we have 8 indicators, but in SDGs, we have the 17 indicators. Yeah, so more complex. Yeah, from MDGs. When in the MDGs, just one factors or one indicators that already exists on MDGs indicators, but in SDGs indicators, we have, 5 indicators for environmental indicators. The first is the access of cleaning waters and sanitation, and then the city and community sustainability, and then the effort to climate change, and then the marine ecosystem, and then how to ecosystem in the lives. So that is the parameter of SDGs. How about the relationship between rural, city, and environmental development? In there any relationship between the rural and city? In rural is input providers like natural resources, and also the goods, services, markets, and rural settlements, conservation, and also rural as the conservation areas. How about the city? City is the industry public sector. It serves the goods. It serves a good or service market, and also city is urban settlement. In one of the indicators in SDGs is how to create the green city, how to decrease the population. So we do not have any option, only how to create the green city. Okay, this is the green city model. So green city conceptual framework. This is IHS green city concept framework. The first is the energy efficiency use from renewable energy in all sectors. Yeah. Greening of public services, drinking water and sanitation, green infrastructure and water system, green transport, green transportation, greening urban agricultural. Now, and then the second is greenery, extensive use in all sectors. For example, like green buildings. And then the third is spatial planning with land compactness or a mixed use or social mix. That is with green transport. And then greening urban agricultural, greening vertical farms. So that is spatial planning with land compactness. And then the fourth is green growth and equity principles. How to using the green technology smart or technology smart ICT. So this is what is it? This is the factors that for green city conceptual framework. This is need policies, regulations, strategies. So and also need the plans, program, project, and institution governance, and also private, public stakeholder, and civic organization. This is Green City conceptual frameworks. This is the videos about the Green City concept and development. You can click this YouTube to look the concept of Green City. This is Green City in Dubai. This is very interesting, very nice way if you look it. And this is, I give you some videos about the Green City in others. Okay. The concept of externality and economic valuation of natural resources. This is, we know about the externality and economic valuation. Some natural resources, we know that public goods. Some natural resources is public goods. For example, the park, and then what is it? The toilet, that is public goods, and then the beach, that is public goods. Now, the forest, that is public goods. As all of that are for consumption, because they are public goods, no ownership, so the use is over consumption. Nature of public goods, it is called that externalities. The problem in public goods is producers do not have the ability to control who has the right to get them and can ask consumers to pay for the consumption of these public goods. This is public goods and externality. Public goods such as air, roads, water are example of public goods that have dominant characteristics, including non-rivalry, no competition in consuming. For example, we consume the air, no competition to get the air. Street lighting. Non-excludable. There are no restrictions on consuming the same good. For example, scannery, rifle water, TV, radio, or broadcast. There are no restrictions. We can consume our every day, every night. It's depend on you. And then these two characteristics often lead to overconsumption of public goods by one party against the other, the emergence of externality. This is paradox public goods. Everyone wants delicious taste, but no one to try. For example, If the road is smooth, everyone wants to enjoy it. But few want to try to be orderly on the highway. Why? Highway, public goods. Security is a public good. If the country is safe, everyone can enjoy it, but few are willing to try to make this country safe. Building a dam in a flood-prone area benefits all parties, but few are willing to contribute funds to build it. It is not surprising then the provision of public goods such as roads, dams, security must be provided by the government. As this is some example, public goods and externalities from the use of public goods. Yeah. And this is the externalities and market value. A phenomena of externalities, we know that there any market value. Natural resources facing the market mechanism does not work perfectly, or the market is incomplete. So the market facing failure, it reflects the nature of natural resources, which is public goods. Public goods, externalities, market value, it can impact to the link that often occurs in the management of natural resources. When do externalities occur? The first is if the activity involves public goods. For example, smoking creates externalities because it uses the same air. If property rights are not clearly defined, for example, roads, sound waves, sea, and the third is so externality occurs when someone is affected by the action of another party without the person being directly involved in the activities being carried out. The market fails to function because doesn't correct the cost incurred. If the market is functioning, you should be compensated if exposed to cigarette smoke from smokers near you. This is the basic typology of externalities. The first is externality. This is externalities production, and then externalities negative production, externalities consumption, any externalities positive consumption, and externalities negative consumption. So the externality, it doesn't mean negative only, but also there any the positive externality. Yeah. This is the advanced typology of externality. The first externality, there any pecuniary, private, and public. What is pecuniary? This occurs because of change in input or output principle, output prices in economic activity. Private, we can call that private if some individuals are even bilateral without overflow to other parties. And what is the public externality? When the quantity remains but the quality is decreases. This is definition of externalities. If an activity of production, consumption disturbs another person, then that activity has created an externality. This is for the other definition of externalities. So this you look the picture above that shows that there are no externalities. All benefits and costs are received by the individuals involved. There is no social cost or social benefit outside of the individual involved. So that is there any marginal private benefit and marginal private cost. Okay, this is the this is positive externality curve. Yeah. When the marginal private benefit will embassy marginal private cost, and then if a marginal private benefit is shift in the right, it will impact to the increasing in the price. Okay, so when the marginal private benefits shift to the right, it will impact to the increasing in the price. Okay, this is negative externality. As some factory dumps it was into a rival and causes itching disease in people downstream of the rivals, so that residents are forced to pay for itching nail design or do not bid in the rival but at nearby hotel additional cost that it needs the additional cost that is the negative externalities. This is the negative externality curve. Yeah. Condition for negative externalities when parties' activities result in the loss or reduction of the other parties. It's named that welfare. The loss of welfare is not compensated. Okay. This is the response correction to external avoid market value. The first is with every polythene producers must pay a tax. This is by Pigovian tax. And the second is creating a pollution market with the cash version. The third is with the internalization. The fourth is with ownership rights and subsidy. This is the response to avoid market value that can be done by government with their policy. Okay, that's it, my student. That is the materials in this session. Thank you for joining with me. You can ask if you any question in my WhatsApp. Thank you for your join. See you on next week. Goodbye. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.